Hello and welcome back to the Anime Club, the club where we talk about anime that we've been recently watching, viewing and enjoying. Let me know what you've been recently watching and enjoying, and if you've seen what I'm about to talk about, let me know what you thought about it. I didn't watch My Hero's new season weekly because I wanted to sort of experience it all in one. At first I thought this was going to be the final season, so I wanted it to all be out and then I wanted to just binge through it. And I honestly think that a season like this where it's sort of endgame battle and every episode bleeds into the next and it's this one big fight, I think it honestly watches better in a binge. I don't think when there's these grand scale fights, watching it weekly, you just don't get enough. Like, little things happen and you just think, I need to know what happens next. And so having it all in one, all consumed, was fantastic. And I honestly think that this was one of probably the better seasons that My Hero has seen. It didn't necessarily have the incredible sort of slow character moments, it was just one big fight, but at the same time, my issue with My Hero has always been that the stakes have never felt massively high, or they've had sort of a few moments with sort of villains that feel like, oh my god, what's going to happen, and it's this high tension fight, but for a lot of it, it's sort of, okay, let's just go to school and let's throw in another arc. I think My Hero as a whole is too long, in my opinion. I think, if they'd condensed it down, there's a shitload of filler in this show, and if they just condensed it down and cut out some of the stuff, I think, honestly, you could have probably told the exact same story 10 times better in maybe 4 or 5 seasons, personally, I think. But My Hero fans are going to flame me for that. This season doesn't have that problem. That is what my point was. This season doesn't have this problem. It is fast-paced, it gives you just everything you need, keeps flicking between one another, and I love just sort of, I mean, I should be used to it by now, but sort of the back and forth between hero and villains that My Hero always does. It's like, the heroes are winning, oh no, something happens, the villains are all the way up here, and we ended on a point where I'm just like, it happens a few times in shows like this where you're like, honestly, I don't know how the heroes are going to do anything. Like, there was a moment where you had All For One flying about being young, you had Darby just blazing through everything, and then Shigaraki was just coming into like full fruition against Deku. So yeah, there was a moment where I just thought, shit, like, how are we doing anything? Oh, and then Twice just pouring everywhere. Like, oh my god. The animation for this show and this season was really great. I mean, it's hard to do sort of massive scale things, and I hate that dimming is a thing, because there's some of the scenes where it's, again, I think it's like is it the Deku Shigaraki fights? It is so flashy that obviously they have to dim it, but it just ruins it. Like, I can't see what's going on because there's so much light. But I love the way that they sort of mix together animation and CGI. I think there's a good way and a bad way to do it, and they did it in a good way, with Shigaraki's arm movements at the beginning when he was just expanding everywhere, Twice pouring out. I thought it was brilliant. There are some really great... to be honest, I can't believe... I was going to say there's some really great character moments. I can't believe that we're... Is this season 7? I think it's season 7. We're 7 seasons into a show, and you're still sort of... It feels like you're still finding out things about people. You're still, like Hawks, it's like you sort of... You know him, and you sort of know his backstory, but he does something, and you're like, oh my god, no way, that's cool. Like, I do like the show for that. I think it's got such an expansive cast, and I do love what they're sort of doing in the sense of, it's not just Deku, it's not just, the big three. It's everyone. It's the whole class. Like, the whole class played such a brilliant part. Like, the fact that you had sort of lower tier class members that you wouldn't necessarily even consider or think about going against All For One. Like, I thought that was brilliant to see, and I did really enjoy seeing the expansive cast and seeing how they all are dealing with it, because it's not... This show, it is about Deku, it is about All Might, but it's about the whole class, if you sort of look at it from a bigger perspective. So I was glad to see that they sort of introduced everyone. Honestly, one of my favourite moments was when the top 3 students went against Shigaraki. Like, I love Lemillion. I hate the name, but I love him. And I can't remember the other guy's name, but the one who sort of like everything he eats he can become. I thought he had. I love him as a character. He's gone through such a journey in what we've seen. And so to now see him like essentially going face to face against the big bad, I was like, okay, let's go. That was brilliant. I loved it. It was great. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what season 8 and the final season holds. I don't know where it's going to go. Darby is still my favourite villain and all that with him. Like, I was like, oh my god, just everything with their whole family and just everyone coming together for that last final bit. To just finally put Darby to rest, I think was brilliant. So I honestly, like I say, I don't really have any issues with this season. The show as a whole isn't perfect, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But anyway, let me know, what did you think of My Hero if you have seen it, and I will see you next time on the Anime Club.